Hey everybody, this is Claire, and this is Small Joyful Things. As always, I go to thrift stores or estate sales, or sometimes I buy things from Craigslist, and I'm always looking for things that I find beautiful or interesting, or that I think you guys might like. I've actually had to post less videos. I'm posting maybe about 2 a week at this point, because of not really finding as much in thrift stores, and also I've had a little bit of less time, mostly related to work. But anyway, here's what I've got for you today. I like to think I make up for it with something incredibly beautiful. This is a little vase. It is incredibly small. You can see that's on the size of my hand. It is a glass vase. It's iridescent. This is not a paint or surface. This is actually part of the glass. And I hope you can see it correctly against the light here. It is really, really beautiful. I paid quite a bit more for this than I would normally pay. I paid $25 for it, and I actually saw this in the cabinet of my local thrift store that is literally only like 3 blocks away. I just happened to be essentially passing by. I thought I'd walk in and take a look around. Didn't really spot anything. Saw this in the cabinet and immediately told them, get that out, show me the price. And they said it was 25, and they probably could have said, oh, it's like 100. I probably still would have paid for it. So just to get that out of the way, this is not being sold. This is going directly into my own collection. This will not be gotten rid of. It is really beautiful. It's quite heavy, and I don't think that the camera really does the iridescence on it justice, or the fineness of the feathering on it. Now, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see it's basically got 4 feathers. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you wouldn't know that for turning it. It looks like they go on forever. As well as that, you can see straight through it. The glass underneath is see-through. It's 2 layers, basically. There's what this is made of, and then there is the outer layer of this amazing iridescence and the white feathers. As well as that, you can see the kind of the crackling, the kind of stretching and everything like that. That little effect that you can see. It's not entirely smooth. There is a texture to it. I'm not entirely sure what that's about, because I've been doing some research essentially to find out what the actual process is of this, and how someone could actually achieve this effect. But unfortunately, I don't really have much right now. Like, I get a feeling that it's going to be like it's going to be like essentially depression or carnival glass, where they took metallic salts and sprayed onto the glass while hot, and then it's manipulated a little bit, so it's got this kind of a stretch kind of a texture. I'm not 100% sure, I'm afraid. Mostly because I don't think obviously we don't really see that on carnival glass. We don't see that surface. We see just the glossy iridescence. This one is clearly something else. Now, I'm going to just put that to one side, because you're probably going to ask, like, Claire, what exactly have you got here, and is it actually Tiffany glass? And honestly, I should be so lucky. I would be a remarkably happy woman if I walked into any thrift store and saw a piece of Tiffany Favrile glass for $25. I would just die or pass out. I don't really know. Like, this is like, I don't know. I think I would probably just go like, you know what? I don't know what it's going to cost me. Just take my money. Let me have it. I don't care. The cost becomes immaterial because it's Tiffany glass. So while I'm geeking out about this, right? So back in the late 19th century, there's a guy called Louis Comfort Tiffany, and he ended up going to like the National Museum, as as far as I know, in London, and saw like the collections of ancient Roman and Greek glass, and thought that the colors were really interesting, and the texture was really interesting. I thought that modern glass you could do something cool with that information. Like, modern glass was boring. He wanted to do something cool with it, and he basically invented Favrile. He invented this type of glass, and this essentially became like this is basically Art Nouveau glass. It's like the 1910s to 20s. He was really only working from like the very end of the 19th century up to 1933, and he had essentially the Tiffany studios. Tiffany obviously is the very high-end jewelry maker, but they also made these amazing Art Deco and Art Nouveau glass pieces. Now, you probably know them more for their lamps, which I don't see one of here. But you definitely know what a Tiffany lamp is. Like, if I don't have the page up, like the Tiffany lamp, the Tiffany lamps with those lovely like flowers in pieces of glass and stained glass, in frames and everything. Like, if you're not, just I'll maybe just drop some. I'll drop some links in the description. You got to see them, okay? They're beautiful, and they have this amazing effect, and they're very, like, if you get them the right kind, they're very Art Nouveau. They have this wonderful organic feel to them, and a Tiffany lamp is like, you know, if you have it with the shade and it's complete and everything, you're talking $30,000. They're not in any way cheap. Tiffany stuff, as Tiffany glass is, it is just so beautiful and rare and handmade, and it is literally in a class all on its own. It is so unimaginably beautiful. It is just the distilled essence, to me anyway, of Art Nouveau. It was, I could geek out about it forever. I would absolutely die if I ever actually got a piece of Tiffany glass. Like, something like that. I can't even. It's so beautiful. They did the iridescence in a bunch of different colors. I think the one that people see most often is the gold one, but they definitely did several blues as well, and at least one green, and they are phenomenal. Cannot get over how beautiful they are. But anyway, while I'm geeking out about this, here's one that I actually wanted to show you, because it'll give you an idea of like the texture and everything of this. Like, you can see that it's gold, and it has that kind of like that crackling or whatever you want to call it, and it has these white stripes in it and everything, and it kind of just seems like, oh, this is kind of similar. Now, again, for 25 bucks, this is not Tiffany. I would love it if it was. I still love it even though I know it's not. But it's not Tiffany. Yeah, what this actually is, and to be honest, saying that it's not Tiffany doesn't really mean much. It's still a beautiful piece of glass. What this actually is Robert Held. So I've had a few pieces by him before. I've definitely done some videos on them before. If you actually search my channel, I'm sure you'll find them. Robert Held is a glassmaker in Vancouver who's essentially known for doing iridescent, feathered, kind of Tiffany style Favrile glass, but he's very much modern guy. Like, as far as I can tell, like, dude just saw Favrile Tiffany and decided it was the best thing in the world and wanted to make more of it. And it's fantastic, I have to say, because he does it so well. And the style that he does tends to be very distinctive. Now, the one thing about this is that it is not signed, which is not unusual. I've had at least one other by him that has not been signed as well. I even have one, which I've done in the channel before, which is this beautiful vase, which again, if you know Robert Held, you can see the slight iridescence, you can see the feathering, and it's also not signed. But I've seen enough of his work at this point to know that it's definitely by him. This, I'm going to just put that back. Again, part of my personal collection. And it's kind of 50% because I love the Tiffany Favrile look, and because I find his stuff to be very beautiful anyway. Like, of the pieces that I've had by him, I've managed to find 4, I think, in thrift stores. I have bought all 4 of them whenever I see them, regardless of the price. And so far I've kept 2, and I've sold the other 2. Now, bearing in mind that I bought this for $24.99, $25 Canadian. In this style, even with no sign on it, it's probably still worth $50 to $100. It's quite heavy. It's deceptively heavy, in fact. And one of the things that really kind of clinches it for me that this is very much a Robert Held piece is that anytime that I've seen a lot of his stuff here, especially the little like perfume bottles or everything, and probably don't have a good example to demonstrate what I'm talking about, because it needs to be a little bit see-through to kind of, yeah, okay, this one you can kind of see. Now, you can see that the base here doesn't go all the way to the end. That's the base of it right there. So the base is generally, it's generally a little bit heavier than it looks, because it's not entirely obvious from looking, especially when it's got the iridescence on the outside, that the actual inside, like the inside space in here, is only taking up maybe about half of that. And the rest of it is just solid glass. Now, just as a demonstration in this case, I have my pen. And I'm also can't see things because I'm obviously looking through the camera. That's as far down as it goes. It doesn't even get to halfway on this. That's the base of it there. Doesn't go very far. So yeah, like I'm fairly sure that this is Robert Held piece. Now the other thing that I know about Robert Held is that he did stop working for a while and then essentially came out of retirement because he was bored, and now he works on Vancouver Island in his studio and still produces art glass. So the question is, like, what era is this from? And to be honest, no way to tell. And although it's in his style, there's also a bit of a question mark whether it's actually him. I know he has definitely taught other artists the way that he does things. And it may have come from his studio, it may not personally be by Robert Held. I have had, of the pieces that I have, I've only had one that's actually been signed by him. And that was one I actually sold for $80. The other one I sold, I think I sold for only 40. So make of that what you will. The other one though was kind of a bit boring. So this one is definitely something else. So there you go. It is really just phenomenally beautiful, and I love the color, I love the texture, and all I can say is that I picked this up, I held it in my hand, I felt the weight of it, the shape of it, like how did it rest on my palm, everything, and it sparked a lot of joy. I knew that I had to have it, and it's about the best we can hope for, I think. So here you go. This is my small joyful thing for the day. If I ever actually find a piece of Tiffany glass, I will definitely let you guys know about it, and you'll basically get to see me freak out on camera. So thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.